welcome back to the Tagz Motorsports channel on YouTube. Thanks for tuning into my channel and watching my videos, all appreciated. Just wanted to do a quick video on Tagz factory sidecars. This sidecar is a completely different concept that is on the market at the moment. There's plenty of sidecar manufacturers in Europe. There's one other manufacturer in the UK, Wasp, very good machines, and he still builds his classic sidecars, absolutely outstanding machines. And it's the same with the ones in Europe. All the sidecar manufacturers in Europe usually concentrate on motocross, so they're always, amazing, immaculate machines, and they are some great looking things as well. But the reason why I went this concept was obviously this is designed for enduros. So all the sidecars on the market like this are usually designed for motocross. So that means they're wide and low. So obviously they're going to stick to the dirt a bit better. But this is slightly narrower, not much, but this is quite a bit higher. So obviously when you're going in and out the trees, through the ruts and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot easier on you. And not only that, you're not going to be hammering the frame and just demolishing a brand new motocross sidecar. There's been a lot of criticism on the outfit that I have made. I don't really care what anybody thinks, if they like it or dislike it. But the concept I tried to make was purely for servicing and parts and etc. If you go out and buy a second-hand sidecar now, you don't know what engine's in it, you don't know how many people have been in it. It's got like a big ball barrel on it, it's got a modified airbox, it's got modified this, modified that, everything's been cut and notched, and it's just a nightmare. And this concept was made back in the 90s, but it went out very quick. But I am more for this concept. Okay, come motocross, this sidecar isn't gonna win, fair enough. But this sidecar is going to be very, very reliable. It's got the standard EXE 500 engine, the standard wiring loom, the standard airbox, the standard everything. So if I need an air filter for this, it's a 2019 air filter. If I need a gear lever, 2019 EXE. If I need a rear brake pedal, EXE 2019. Same with the calipers, it's all KTM, EXE 2019 stuff. As well as this sidecar is fully road legal, so it's got a logbook, and on the logbook it is stated as a sidecar. So this is fully legit. What else is good about this sidecar? When I first advertised this sidecar, I wanted to try different manufacturers. So I tried some Razor front shock cradle suspension. I just wanted to try a couple of manufacturers. Obviously Rager is known as the best quality shock, and without a doubt it is. I've tested different shocks. I feel that there's a lot more shocks on the market that are made for the road industry, for like the twin shocks on the back of the old scramblers and stuff like that. And usually 9 times out of 10, the adjustment on them is very minute. So that's for really just taking, so really they're not made for the off-road market. So there is only one shock that I will know that will take abuse for the off-road market, and that is Rager. And you have another line, YSS, do a good job. Not as good as Rager, but they're still a good shock for the money. But you can get a GP version of the YSS, and that's a very good shock itself. That's what I have fitted on the rear of this. It's a GP YSS straight to the swinging arm to the top of the frame. So we haven't got all the linkage and all that kind of stuff to mess around and keep on servicing throughout. With this, you have got the 2019 EXC chassis. So the chassis is completely there. It hasn't been modified. Obviously, when I've gone to attach the Sidecar onto it, we've actually gone through the frame, so we've made it as strong as possible. As well as when we were building this, I was slightly worried that I was putting all this steel tube on and putting it all in everywhere. I was real worried that I was making it too heavy. We did think it was going to, when we weighed it, we were like shocked, overwhelmed that we did go underneath the target. So most motocross sidecars that I've weighed are usually about the 190, 200 kilo mark. That's what they roughly weigh, obviously with empty tanks. Fully done like this, but with empty tanks. This one, when we weighed it, as it is, empty tanks come in at 175 kilos. So, you know, we hit a great target there. Even though that I was using thick tube and stuff like that, I'm still surprised that it was under the 190 mark. You know, I was pretty worried about that, but that was a bit of a fluke call. So, yeah, that was a great hit. As well on the front, we've just got just a run-of-the-mill, straight forks, nothing complicated. You'll see on a lot of manufacturers they have a complete built fork system. I think you know, there's lots of different angles you can do and pivot points you can play with, but I just wanted to keep the concept there. So we've got KTM EXE top clamps. So everything there is KTM. So if I need to change headstock bearings, that's just literally go and get the parts from your local dealer or eBay. Yeah, so that's the whole concept of it. And just the straightforward lead and link forks. Did have a couple of attempts trying to get this right. There's the way the lead and link work is actually quite complicated. It's not just a pair of forks, so there is some playing around you need to do to get these to actually handle right. If you get the forks bent back too much, the handlebars will shake like mad. And then if you lean them out too much, it just doesn't feel right. So there's a very sweet points you can go. So if I put the bend of the fork slightly forward 1 inch, that will make a hell of a difference. So I bet if I bend the fork back another inch, that'll make a hell of a difference. If I move the wheel in front another inch, that will make a hell of a difference. So there's a lot of things that can be adjusted on the front end. This is my prototype one, we've done a season on it, and it's been great, it's been outstanding. I've just put some lighter springs on there now for, well, 2020, but now this COVID-19 crap's all out there, so bikes are a no-go at the moment, but hopefully be starting up at the end of July. Yeah, so that's what we've done on the front end, we just kept that all the same. On the chair wheel, what we got there, we can adjust the wheel that way, and we can adjust the wheel this way as well. So you've got 3 adjustments there you can do on the Sidecar wheel, and that's been fine. Had no problems with that. That's on a Raider shock as well. It's been great. What else can I say about it? We've got, like I said before, we've got the standard EXE 500 engine. So everything there is just literally no big bore kit or anything like that. It'll be 100% reliable. So we've just fed a nice cooling system, and we've still got the right hand rad mounted on there as well. Got a fan fitted in here, I'll show you around that now after. We've had no problems there, that's been great. And I did add an oil cooler onto the bottom of it, so say if I wanted to convert the engine to a 610, they say, you know, you should adapt it with an oil cooler to just take a bit of that pressure off the bottom of the engine. The swinging arm is something, I done one event with the stock swinging arm, so the KTM swinging arm, and it was like a wheelie machine. So we literally extended it 2 inches, not the OEM one, I made a new swinging arm 2 inches longer, and again that is to suit the KTM EXE 500 wheel and the bearings there as well that would fit straight in. So if you need a new linkage kit, you not linkage, swinging arm kit, you would just change that and this is still stock. So it's making life easier. Yeah, so the great thing about this is it's a breeze through the woods. It's nice, it handles great, it's fun, real fun machine. The downfalls of this is when you're on tests, it's very hard to compete with the 610 engines. If you've got a straight line and that straight line is say 50 meters, well clearly that 610 is going to get down that 50 meters quicker than this 500. Yes, it's one of them faults you can't, you know, okay, I can go and get a 610 engine, but I want the reliability, I want to get to the end of the race. So I wanted to keep the 500 standard. Yeah. So that's that. What else? Yeah, I'll show you around the sidecar now. You've got to keep in mind that this has done a years of riding. I'll give you the results on that now in a minute. So here we go. So this is just a run-of-the-mill setup. We've got the Minnow front lead and link brake set up there. That's all very nice and tidy. I had no problems with that. Got the Rega steering damper on there. Obviously I've got motocross plates on here, but this has all got the lights and the speedo and everything. But this last race this done was Skegness Beach Race, and we got a third on that, so we got podium there. Got a big fan there. This fan rarely comes on in like an enduro through the woods and stuff like that. In the sand events, that fan does come on. And it doesn't come on for long, comes on for about a couple of minutes and then it knocks off. It all depends how you're riding it really. If you're flat out on the limiter all the time, yes, it's going to happen. But if you ride it through the gears nice and use the actual torque of the engine, that fan rarely comes on. Nice little upgrade there, FMF pipe, and that pipe there again is an EXC 500 KTM pipe for this year model. So if you want to go and put a new one on there, you can literally undo that off there and put a new one on there. In there we got this box. Let's just tip them up here on the side of it. So here we've got the box, shall we say. I wanted to well cover that so the bearings and all that would last, and it's the same as the bottom of the shock there. It's all covered for you're not going to get any damage, or you're not going to ruin the joints out of the bottom of the shock. And then again, that's fully adjustable on the other side. You can adjust that, pull the wheel in and out, and as well as that, the main pin that goes through here, it's got a bush on it and it's offset so you can adjust the wheel. So there's plenty of adjustment you can do on the Sidecar wheel. And down in there, you can see everything is just a standard EXC 500. And there's a swinging arm. Pull them over here. So there we've got the. This is the swinging arm that it's been made in house. All of this has been done in house, like. Made this nice heavy swinging arm, and then it is straight onto the swinging arm. So all the sidecars I've ever seen are either twin shocks, so they've got two shocks either side there, or they are done by a linkage. Now this was another like kind of an enduro aspect of what I was thinking. Underneath here you would have all the big caper of the linkage here. And obviously all the shit and branches and all the roots and everything, the bearings don't last. The last Sidecar I had, I was forever changing them, and I just had enough of it really. You're spending a lot of time and effort servicing everything, so I wanted to do this concept. This is a YSS GP shock, and that's been great. It's worked very well throughout the year. On here, so we've still got the original aluminium subframe in there, so all the plastics, airbox and everything all still fit on, all the electrics are where they usually are underneath the seat. And then what we've done is we've braced the alloy subframe, so there's a big bracket here, and then where the exhaust goes, there's a bracket going onto it there, and a bracket, there's two brackets. Let's come around here. Yeah, you've got one there and one here, so that's supporting the subframe. As well as that, this is some good tubing, CDS tubing. This comes down here, joins onto the frame here, and then we've got this one here that comes up and joins onto there, which this joins into the bottom of the chassis, and then we've got this bar here, and this is just another bar just to keep some of the stuff off the actual frame itself, and it supports this back bar, and then this here is where it goes onto, so it strengthens this whole cradle, so it's like a lock. So I made a lock there on the whole chassis. And then you've got the main tube here. This one here runs throughout the frame, and it's been welded right round, and it runs through the other sub chassis rail. So we've got the sub chassis all completely locked on. So that is rigid as hell. And this bar here, and it's the same with this, the other tube that runs to the Sidecar wheel through this side comes right to the end here, and it's welded onto this bit of tube here. So that's fully locked on. The fully bottom of the chassis here is completely solid to the Sidecar. Then we've got the main chassis tube, which is through here. And then we strengthened the stock head with some 3mm plate. So you can see that 3mm there. Going right round there, and it joins onto this. Coming around to this side. You can see it there coming out, and then it's a bend, and it runs down here, down into the corner here. So this is a main structural pipe to the whole bike and chassis. This is what locks everything together. This one, and this one, and this one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 main bars that lock everything of that bike to this. And these, that bar, and that bar and this bar is all T45 tubing. It's a very strong tubing. When I was doing all the tubing and taking the tensile strength, the yard strength, I feel that when you use chrome moly tubing, because it's so strong, if you hit a tree or something like that, it will just rip because it's so strong. If you hit a tree with mild steel, the mild steel will bend. We haven't used mild steel on this. We've used CDS tubing and T45 tubing. So if we use chrome moly and you hit a tree, that chrome moly isn't going to bend. What it's going to do, it's going to flex and flex back. But for it to flex, it will need to rip the welds. So therefore, having chrome moly on a chassis like this is not going to work because there's too much structural tubing going everywhere. So if I'd done all of this here out of chrome moly tubing, the chassis would be too structurally sound. So if I hit anything hard, say on this bottom rail here, if I hit something here on this bottom rail, that bar there is going to flex, because chrome moly does flex, but it's going to rip the welds. So when this bar comes through here, it's going to rip these welds out. And that's what happens on structurally sound chrome moly chassis. So what I've done is I've used T45 tubing on the main legs, and then I've used quality CDS cold drawn tubing, and that's throughout the whole chassis. KTM claim they use a chrome moly material for their chassis, and that's what they say. I have no way of really testing. It was quite easy to adjust the chassis in places, you know, so I think, yeah, I'm sure they have used it. But everything is, you see in there, how the chassis rail's gone through. And then you've got the other bar there that runs up the other side of the airbox. And then you've got this bar here that runs throughout up here, and it all joins in and interlocks. So the chassis is actually structurally sound. So yeah, this is Tagz factory sidecars. So yeah. So I hope you can understand what the kind of concept I've gone through to do this. It's purely so if I need to go and get a new one of these, I can go and get a new one of those. If you get a aftermarket, well not aftermarket, if you get a European cycle or whatever, they're usually, you know, you have to go back to the manufacturer to get that part, you know, all kind of parts, you know, your filters and air boxes and stuff like that. You don't have to do that. So you're ready to go with this sidecar. There's nothing you need me for. Maybe you might need a new cradle doing. That's not a problem if you need one of them. But then again, this cradle here has been made out of T45 tubing, and then we've got CDS tubing for the forks, and this is a hellish thick tubing. So this is like I can't remember what this was, a 5mm tubing, so they're not moving anywhere. And again, and we've got the quick release spindles as well. It's just a nice little upgrade to do. And obviously a big thing with these is as well is having a quality steering damper. Just put you back on the mount. Yeah. So obviously when I advertised these, I think I advertised them for like, what was it? I can't 100%. I'm not going to say a number now because I don't want to be able. I put a price out about a year and a half ago on this, and that was on a standard model. So that would have been one without the upgraded swinging arm, and it would have had the Razor shocks on it. The Razor shocks worked fine, they were a good shock on it, but that's the budget shocks, you know, or we can upgrade them to a YSS on the front, or we can upgrade them to the Raiders. So that is, all this stuff is completely optional. And as well as that, I haven't got to use this EXE format, but this is what I like to do. And I think it's very important as well, if you're thinking about having something like this made, say if you want to convert I don't know, an old KLX for just riding the hills, or something like that. That is something that can be done. But obviously, when we do that kind of stuff, obviously the frame and the chassis and that is all different, so we've got to kind of twig ourselves to actually how to use it. We can't adapt onto alloy frames because there will be nowhere structurally sound to actually work on unless you wanted the chair to be bolt-on, but we don't really want to be doing that because it's just weak. But it depends what you're using it for. If you're using it for the road or just clearly over the hills, yes, something like that could have done. As well as that, I would recommend if we were going to build you one, if you're thinking about getting one built, I would definitely buy a brand new bike, no doubt about it. Nothing's been touched. When I done this was a brand new bike, and we completely stripped it down and repowder coated everything, and it's been sound like had no problems. So on the championship of 2019, there's in the BSEA championship rounds, there's 3 classes. I think there's clubman, expert, and then there's championship expert. So last year, this was our first year on it last year, and this is the first kind of sidecar like that's been around like this for a long time. And we're up against motocross sidecars and 610 engines and 580s, you know, so there's a good mix. So in the season, I was the smallest engine in our class, and the class I was in was championship expert, so that's the highest class you can go in. The first round I rode the sidecar on a stock swinging arm. And that's where we found it was an absolutely wheelie machine. So for the next round then I had to get I made a new swinging arm 2 inches longer, which done a hell of a difference. So on the first round was Kyo, we got a 6th place in that. Then after Kyo it was the Welsh Today. The Welsh Today, it's a hell of an endurer, if you haven't heard of that before, but definitely worth looking at. Welsh Today, that's what it's called. On the first day of that we got a 6th, and then on the second day we got, on the first day we got a 5th, and then on the second day we got a 5th again. So again we were competing, it was our second event on this, so we were still trying to get to know it and work as a team to, you know, get it in and out of the corners. And the Welsh Today has 3 tests each day, so it's a time trial. So you've got, like, say 6 checks and you'll have 3 tests. So obviously the fastest around the test, and the tests are usually quite long. They're usually about 5 minutes long each one. So yeah, with the big engines again, yes, you're going to make a lot of time on the straights and stuff like that against the 500. But during that, the Welsh Today as well, we dropped a minute on 1 check as well. That was just because we weren't going quick enough. We could have gone a lot faster, but we were just dozing. We should have knew better. And then it was the breakfast. That was a real wet enduro. Great fun. We got a 5th place in that. I thought we'd done better in the breakfast. Or was that the Jacko? No, that was a Jacko, yeah. Breakfast, that was a quick event, that one was. So yeah, we got 5th place in that. Raider would have just been like a 2 hour and a half motocross. So that's pretty much just a motocross track and just go around it for 3 hours. Didn't do so well on that one, got a 4th in that one, and I'm pretty sure that's the one where I come off and hurt my leg, so that slowed us down a bit. Next one was Bilth Enduro, we got a 4th again in that one. The Jacko then, this one was a real wet event. Not many sidecars finished this one, and there was only 2 sidecars in our class that finished, and that was Jonathan Williams and Neil James. They've been riding sidecars for a long time. They were going real well, and luckily enough I had a reliable machine and we got to the end. And their test times to our test times were a lot better than ours. Like, you know, again, they were on a quicker machine. Like, you know. But yeah, that's an outstanding result, to be honest. It just shows how reliable this machine is. The next event, Kamaivig, again this was in a motocross track. A fair few turned up on the line and we got a 2nd again in that one, so that was a great achievement. This is when we're starting to get to know the sidecar and we're starting to know how it all handles and starting to work as a team. Next event was Western Supermare, so we've all heard of that, one of the biggest events in the UK. We got podium on that, we got 3rd place in that, which was great again. Western, we did have one problem with Western. I put a kill switch on. You've got to have a kill switch that goes around your wrist, so if you come off the bike, the bike will die. We had a problem with it. I don't know what went wrong with that. I had to pull the wires out. It took me a little while to work out, and we did lose a fair few positions there. And we had the backlog of people to try and get back through. But we were lucky enough. We kept our eye on the ball, and we just kept on going real hard. We only stopped once, and that was literally a bit of fuel and some goggles. So that, I think we could have done better on that, but that's the way the ball rolls. So yeah, we got 3rd on that. And then Skegness Beach Race, we got a 3rd again on that. So just goes to show again the reliability of it. I think only 3 of us finished on Skegness. No, there was more than 3 that finished on Skegness. There was a good, how many sidecars turned up to that? There was a good 10, 15 sidecars there, like that. But again, we finished and we were able to get a 3rd. And again, the people above us were on 610 engines, and yeah, just that more power getting through the sand. Obviously sand absorbs a lot of torque, so so you are really using the engine to your max on sound. But we got a third, we got podium. So overall for this Sidecar, for its first season, and we made it at the start of January, February, March we made it. And that's when it was all together. March 2019 we made this concept, and we done the whole season in 2019, and we got ourselves a second in the whole championship. So if you ask me, for a brand new concept of Sidecar, we built it all in-house here, and we put it to the test. We rode in championship expert class, which is the highest class to go in on the Enduros, and at the end of the result was a second place. So I think that just proves that this kind of concept it does work. It's no doubt about it. Like, it's reliable. We finished every single race. Did we have any breakdowns as such? Kill switch in Western. On the first event, Cayo, I had a couple of water pipe problems. That's all fixed. That was literally trial and error because it was our first event ever on it. And that is the only two problems I've had. I've had no other problems with this outfit. So yeah, I know how to make a machine reliable. Do I want to make it go quicker? No, because I'm losing the reliability of it then. So I want to keep it as it is. So yeah, so thanks for watching this video. If you have any inquiries about wanting to make a Sidecar or anything like that, if you want us to make it, it's hard to evaluate. Like, if I'm going to price you a Sidecar, I need to kind of know what you want. I need to know if you want Rega suspension or YSS. I need to know what, do you want the bee's knees of Sidecars, and then if you want the bee's knees of the Sidecars, we'll put the best of everything on. And it's all about getting the bike at the right money as well. So say if there's, say particular time, so we got old 2020 models and we've got new 2021 models coming in. So obviously the 2020 models are going to be cheaper than the 2021 models. Would you want a 2020 or would you want a 2021 model? So that could be a price difference of £2,000 just in picking the actual model of the bike. So there's plenty of things. Like I said, we haven't got to use this KTM. If you're just doing open hill riding, hell, we could convert a BMW trail bike or a African Twin. We can put a chair on it. I can build it to however you want it. If you want a seat put on there for just literally, like I said, open hill stuff, it's all possible. So I can make you a machine to specifications, and I enjoy building these. It's different than process work and stuff like that. So I would like to do more. As well as this is again with the prices. Obviously you got that. I have to put these through the business no matter what. They're expensive machines to make, and obviously there's plenty of other people. But I will obviously work, and I will work to what you want, and I will make sure you have an outstanding machine at the end of it. And when you want me to build you a Sidecar, it will be completely together, ready to race as it leaves this workshop. And when you do have one, it will be road registered, it will have lights, it will have horn, it will have a speedo, it will have all of them things, lecky start, absolutely everything. So yeah, again, thank you for watching my channel. Please give us a thumbs up for this video or whatever. And yeah, if you want to know any more, just pop me a message through YouTube or email me, and I can give you some more information on this Sidecar. Thank you.